Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk Chain, the podcast where we get into all things crypto. And today we're going to talk about the crypto recovery. Bob, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
I'm doing good, doing a lot better today. So, I have the total market capitalization, and it is goddamn refreshing to see that bounce. We went down to a low of, let me get it. I'm gonna get it. 432 billion USD was the total
Wow.
market cap on that bounce. That was earlier today. And things were
Yeah.
looking pretty damn shady.
It
Bitcoin went
was,
down below 9,500.
yeah. No, it was scary. 9,500. Ethereum was in the 800s. Ripple dipped under $1. Yeah. Oh, it's awful stuff.
But, this afternoon we saw a lot of buying and a lot of volume behind that buying. So, I don't want to speak too soon because who the hell really knows, but we seem to have found some stability anyway. The entire market cap is now 580 billion, so we really bounced off of that low. Bitcoin dominance is still at 34.3%, so still kind of lagging from where it was earlier in the year. But like I said, I don't see any reason why it should go higher than that.
Well, it made its way up to 37, I would say, during the peak of this entire thing.
Yeah, I think so, and I don't know if you've got an idea on that, but it seems like there's just definitely much more volume when it comes to Bitcoin trading, so it's probably less volatile than everything else out there.
Yeah, so I think all of the altcoins, all the pump and dumps, turned into just dumps, and they all just put it all back into Bitcoin, and and then people who would put it into Bitcoin eventually would take it out via Coinbase or wherever their main exchange is.
Yeah, that's definitely an option, but we definitely saw money run. It just seems like more money ran from altcoins, and then either some more stayed in Bitcoin, or they did go full out and pull out. But anyway, it seems like we're coming back. So I would consider this a very healthy dip in the market. The
Yeah,
parabolic movement that we had in the last 6 months is completely unsustainable. I couldn't have told you that I was predicting this. I said earlier in our videos a couple weeks ago that I was expecting it to bounce off of all-time highs. But I almost think that there's a higher chance of it bouncing off the all-time highs now, given that we had this healthy retracement.
yeah, no, definitely. People just kind of got a quick reset, especially those who are buying at these lows. I know I keep trying to increase my position in a number of coins, and that'll bring down kind of just your average buy price.
Yeah,
Um,
so it looks like I have coin market cap up right now, and if we're just comparing to USD, everything is looking pretty good. The altcoins actually look like they're going much higher than Bitcoin. If I compare to just Bitcoin, you can tell that everything is actually going up much higher. So it sort of confirms what we're saying about the volatility. So altcoins are definitely much more volatile. So if you're trying to be a little more careful with your portfolio and be less or more risk averse, definitely holding Bitcoin and Ethereum is a safer bet than all of these altcoins.
yeah, but if you want those sweet gains, let's jump into those altcoins and we'll try to ride this heavy pump.
Yeah, yeah. So for my portfolio, I would rather not lose too much sleep at night. So that's why I still have most of my USD in, well, not all of my USD, but of my crypto portfolio, I have a lot in Bitcoin, specifically for this reason. But definitely there were buying opportunities here, and people who buy now, who bought earlier today, are going to make a ton of cash off of this.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I was about to say this earlier. I think what you're seeing with the big jumps in a lot of the altcoins is people going back into their positions on these coins with a smaller price, even though they have high market caps. Um, they are jumping. They're still jumping back in uh, to those, especially now that they've seen this massive dip. and the prices are at all-time lows for especially for people who are just getting into it.
Yeah. So if you've only been in this market for, yeah, so I kind of brought this up a little while ago, how in I think it was December, the bottom that we hit was 422 billion
Right.
in total market cap. So if you're just getting into crypto in the last month, you haven't seen prices this low. And you've probably not seen headlines go as bananas as they have now in terms of, panic in the cryptocurrency markets. So it's definitely a great opportunity for people who've never been in to get in now, and realize that you're playing a wild ride. We're on an exciting game right here, which is why I think, Rob, you and I enjoy it. But don't play with any money you're not willing to lose, and be honest with yourself when you're telling yourself that.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a very important principle, and I know that people will come at you with the the negative news or the FUD when they hear about it. I know that a number of people at work are more than happy to talk to me about Bitcoin falling 30%
Yeah.
in a couple of days.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
It's the most annoying because they sat on the sidelines for the last 12 months and just, rolled their eyes and didn't have the interest in getting in, but now they can really give it to you and tell you how they were right all along.
yeah, no, it's great. It's great when I tell them that I'm still up, 200% overall, and they just go back to rolling their eyes and sitting at their desk.
Yeah, and that's not to say that there's not tremendous risk in this market. And the reason why a lot of these dips happen seem to be because of almost a coordinated amount of uncertainty from a bunch of different countries. So one article that Rob and I missed yesterday was that somebody from the People's Bank of China was talking about a wider ban on services related to cryptocurrency trading. So I have that article up now, and like they're not the only ones. So we saw some uncertainty in South Korea, and somebody yesterday or 2 days ago from Germany talked about how there should be global rules on cryptocurrency trading. So all of this happening at once, you could easily see how it could push the price lower, and how everybody trying to get out the door at once really led to this big sell-off.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I believe that there is like a G7 or G8 event coming up where they plan on talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a whole.
Oh,
So
really?
that's yeah. So it's it's tough because some people might say that only bad things can come of it if regulations get involved, but there are some potential chances for some positive rules to be put in. So I'm not entirely negative on something like that occurring, and I'm not entirely negative on people. They're on governments cracking down. If Germany and China want to crack down on some speculative trading and people taking advantage of the markets, if we can get rid of the BitConnects of the world, then there are some positives as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's just nobody in this space really trusts the government, and I think with good reason. And it's a cause for concern because it's just going to make it very difficult for something like Bitcoin to become an actual currency if countries are outlawing it, or saying, they're going to try and prevent drug trafficking, so they're going to outlaw Bitcoin. So the government can really come up with any excuse it wants to regulate it in order to do whatever, save the children if they want to.
Hmm.
So I think given that a lot of people don't really trust the government, announcements like these really can push the price lower.
Yeah, no, it's definitely understandable when people just want to be able to do whatever they want with their money at all times, and there is an argument to be made for who are they to kind of tell us what to do. But um,
But I don't know. Overall, though, I still think it's going to be hard for if every single country bans Bitcoin. I feel like the cat's out of the bag still.
yeah, I don't know if it'll be a ban. I think that's kind of an overreach, especially they can see that people are taking it seriously, and that um, it's not where it was 3 years ago. like when people just started getting involved, and the market cap was around 15 billion. But um, I think
Yeah,
it's
but
hard to dismiss it and say that no one can use it anymore.
well, but the problem is that the more people use it, the more it's going to threaten the mainstream currencies.
Yeah, no, it'll
And
be interesting, and it'll also be interesting to see if governments themselves just decide to create things based on the blockchain themselves.
yeah, and that's probably a likely scenario in a lot of these cases. And we were talking yesterday about the Japanese company that's putting the exchange up, and
Right.
and that seems more likely. They're just going to jump in, and then that's going to affect the completely decentralized currencies because the Federal Reserve in the United States having a lock on printing money is a very important thing. It really helps them with control of everything they want when it comes to power and economics. So I don't know. The bigger this gets, the more it's going to threaten that power structure, and I think it's going to be easier for them to make up things that they want to ban it. But besides things like that, I think we can talk about how there was some speculation that the futures markets are being manipulated because the expiration date on the futures contracts are coming up tomorrow. I think CME is tomorrow. I don't know about CVOE. It might be on Friday, but Gemini also does some sort of auction, and people were talking about that, how it's manipulation to get the price somewhere. I I don't know. So I pull up Charlie Lee's tweets, and he's talking about how it's easily manipulated, and I don't really buy it just because it's not like there's one person controlling all of this stuff.
Well, yeah, it is tough. I think it is interesting that Charlie did mention to stay away from Bitcoin and stay away from crypto during or on the 17th of January. And coincidentally, we saw it at about a 3 month low, 2 month low. So it could just be a coincidence, and if so, then that's great, and it's a little strange that he could predict it like that, but um, there might just be some validity to it into them scaring the markets and then creating kind of a snowball effect.
Yeah, so I guess he's talking specifically about the Gemini exchange. And so I guess on the specific exchange, there's a possibility that it can be manipulated, but I'm going to pull up the Bitcoin rich list. I thought this is a pretty cool website, bitinfocharts.com, where it actually tells you how many people have how much in their wallet. So there's a lot of wallets with over, say, 100 Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like there's about 17,000 or so. Yeah, oh,
So I don't know, and it's really, if it's one person, well, no. So we know that it really depends if. So I guess if I look specifically at the 1,000 to 10,000 balance, there's 1,500 people who have that much,
man.
and
Sorry,
who
I'm just
knows
doing
how.
the math in my head here, and it's just kind of blowing my mind.
It's a lot of money, but for you got to think about how many of them have an account on Gemini. How many of them are actively trading? Some of them might just have bought it like 6 years ago. How many of them have died since they opened the account? So I mean,
That's a good point.
it's technically possible that that there's only a few people actually manipulating the market, especially if there's a bunch of them that have a short position in the futures market. But part of me just thinks that this is, it was a dip. It was a long time coming. People were expecting it. And I don't think we need to come up with these ideas of manipulation or things like that to actually explain why the dip happened. And nor can you do anything about it. So I don't know. It's cute that he's bringing up that there's an idea about futures being the reason why there's something going on, but I'm not terribly convinced about it.
Well, this was a tweet from January 1st, so he just mentioned it as something that could possibly happen, and it is just interesting that there is
Oh yeah,
exactly what he said might happen, did happen.
I didn't notice the date on that.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, this was January 1st that he tweeted that.
Okay.
So that's what makes it more interesting rather than if he would have posted about it today, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but so besides the point, besides that, I have seen a lot of people bring up how because the futures settlement is coming up, that's the reason why. And I think I mean we can talk a little bit about futures just so people have an idea of what is actually going on with the futures market. So
Yeah, so why don't
it's
you just, sorry to interrupt, why don't you just
yeah.
explain, so what happened today at 4 p.m.? So
So
they
there's
expired.
there's monthly contracts that expire. So instead of actually buying and selling Bitcoin at spot price, which is the price that it is today, when you go to TradingView and you actually put in BTC USD, that is the spot price that you can trade on Coinbase. If you go to say the CME futures, so there's a number of different exchanges that offer futures. CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, is one, and the CBOE are two different ones that offer Bitcoin futures now. And I
Right?
guess Gemini, I don't know, they seem to have like an auction. It's something a little different, but so if say you buy or you sell a Bitcoin future, it gives you the right to buy or sell Bitcoin at that price at a certain date. So if you're buying the January exchange or the January expiry date, on that date, the funds are settled in cash. So I guess it's a bad example to use today because if you go to the January contract, the price is actually very close to the prices now because the contract is expiring, so there's no more real speculation on what the price is going to be between now and uh, January 17th at say 9 p.m. Pacific time, whenever the futures contract expires.
Right. And that was 4 p.m., I think, Eastern.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, uh, whatever. Mine is still trading for some reason. But so if we talk about the we can talk about the February one. Oh God, I don't know how to get this
Yeah,
up.
so let's talk about that. So if by chance these people were right, could it not be impacted every month?
Yeah, yeah, and it is. And in other futures markets, it's always a thing. There's always rolling over of contracts, and people who want to get out of their position need to do something with their contract, unless they
Right.
want to get shipped or they have to buy or sell any sort of commodity. So, okay, this might be the December contract. God, I don't do. Okay, I'll look it up right now. I have a trading view thing up, but it's just not. I don't know.
Okay, so are you saying that you did buy a CBOE contract?
No,
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
no. Okay, so I'm pulling up the February contract now. So this will, and so you also have to know that different contracts or different exchanges have different rules
Right.
on how much capital you need to trade these and specifically where they get the spot price from. So the spot price is what the price is that it's settled at on the exchange. So, okay, the futures for the February contract in the CBOE, right now they're
Hmm.
trading at 11,500, and the price of Bitcoin right now is 11,700.
Okay.
So so they're trading pretty close to what the price is right now, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. If a lot of traders seem to be bullish on Bitcoin in the future, they can buy the Bitcoin futures price at this price right now, and it'll drive it up. And if the price of Bitcoin actually goes up, then they have a right to buy it at the price that they bought the futures contract at.
Oh, okay.
But the thing with the futures market in Bitcoin is that it's cash settled. So they just take the difference and they pay everybody out that way.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's a little bit, and the point is that there is going to be a lot of speculation going on, especially when these contracts are coming up to date. But to think that people can manipulate it that easily, I think is reaching a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. And my understanding was that the numbers involved were actually much lower than the average daily trading amount.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Who knows though? Because given that we had such a huge dip, I think a lot of people are a little bit. How do you say? They're scared to do too much. So I think the fact that that futures are trading the way they are is just because people are not confident in where Bitcoin is going to go in the next couple months.
Right. No, it's definitely understandable with all the regulation talk and uh, just all-time highs, you're bound to just see a pullback at some point.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you want to talk? So, you said that you bought a few things. I wish I had cash available to buy something, but I had told people that I bought in at 14 something. I think, no, like 13.8 when I saw it break through a little bit of a resistance. And I've held this entire time. So, I had no USD available to buy like
Right.
an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds about
Did
right.
you, do you want to tell people what you thought was interesting?
So I am stocking up on Icon, and what Icon is, it's people will compare it to Ethereum and people will compare it to Neo, um, with the exception being that it's operating in Korea. Um, they built their blockchain from scratch. They were thinking about doing a soft fork for it and using the code from Ethereum and building based on that, but they decided to start from scratch. It The project started a couple of years ago, way sooner before their ICO. So they've been building for a while. They have a team of about 100 people,
Hmm.
and which is one of the biggest teams in all of crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that I'm buying it, their mainnet launches on the 24th, 1 week from today.
Hmm.
They also have a large presentation going on the 31st, where they are inviting everybody everybody on YouTube who talks about crypto, anyone with a large following. Again,
Oh, Bob,
our
did
invite
you?
was lost in the mail.
Oh, you didn't get one.
Not me personally.
I
Maybe they
oh
had your address.
I mean I haven't. I guess I'll check the spam folder in the talkchainpodcast at gmail.com. It might be there, but I personally no. I don't
Well,
know how to feel about this.
the good thing is that there is still 2 weeks for Icon to get in contact with us.
Huh.
Um,
Okay. All
so
right.
hopefully they will, again, talkchainpodcast at gmail.com. You can just, or maybe the
Hmm.
Icon founder can just like, subscribe, and comment on our channel. That would be
Yeah.
great.
You know what? They might have a contact. Maybe we should call them. I think
It's
that might be the best way to really get answers.
a good point. Just mention that we're an up and coming podcast.
Hmm.
We do have 3 subscribers now. It's a pretty big deal for us.
I mean, hey, there's still time. There's still time for us to get the invite.
Yeah, I think the flight from here, maybe there'd be some layovers. It should take less than 20 hours for me personally.
Yeah.
So right up to the 30th, free. Like
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
All right. I think we should. We'll send them this video and see what they say.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so sorry, back to Icon momentarily. They do have some large partnerships with large Korean banks, and because the Korean population is so supportive of anything that is Korean, I do believe that this is something that's going to grow exponentially, and especially once they get one or two partnership or one or two actual ICOs launched, like you saw what happened with Neo.
Mm-hmm.
It went from under $100 to like $170 in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully they have the similar success.
Yeah. We'll see. So that's a date to put on the calendar. I also have Icon. I think it's a good company or a good idea that they're hoping to put together. Hoping to read more about it. So I actually am confident in this hold. But Bob, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Do you have anything else?
Great. No, no, that's it for today.
All right, everybody. Well, please like, subscribe, comment on the channel. We're getting back onto our podcasting platform, so if you like that, please listen there on Stitcher or Pocket Cast or iTunes. And thank you everybody for watching. Please, if you don't have a Binance or a KuCoin account, use my referral links. Rob's are all garbage because I manipulated them.
Well, Matt's might be the reason for the dip. I'm not entirely sure. but that's what some rumors are. No one's entirely sure yet.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. See you next time.
Take care.